Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and we are back with more reactions for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. On to episode number 3 now. We had a great two-parter for the first couple of episodes of the series, and that the arc contained within that two-parter, I think they did a nice job of containing it, but I honestly thought what they introduced would be the kind of story for the season. But it's not. The harvest and all the stuff to do with the master was very neatly kind of compacted into the into the first 2 episodes. So now going forward, I am very very curious to actually see what they're gonna do, what they're gonna show us, what they actually might try and give us with monsters, because I think they've mentioned other monsters in this too. So Buffy is, I think, primarily a vampire slayer, but then any other forces of darkness want to come knocking on Sunnydale's door, Buffy's got them covered too. So very, very excited to see what kind of other horror creatures and other creatures, maybe even out of folklore or mythology or whatever, if they go down especially if they, I know, again, Buffy came out first, but if they do go down the route of Supernatural season 1, where they actually did a new monster every few episodes, in Monster of the Week style, then I am very curious to know how they might pull that off. And seeing how Buffy and her new team handle it. And Buffy does have a team now. She has a team, a team of not necessarily slayers, but still kind of associates and friends and fellow just fellow fighters, if you will, fellow fighters. We have officially kind of contracted Willow and Xander and Giles onto the team. We had to say goodbye to Jesse. Jesse, unfortunately, was bitten by one of them. I think probably by Darla. By Darla, he was infected by Darla, and then I think she going by the law, she swapped her blood with his, and then he transformed, and then he became a more kind of ideal henchman to the Master and everything. So that happened, and then they attacked the Bronze and tried to feed more and more people to the Master through Luke being the vessel and everything, and then Jesse died. Xander couldn't really bring himself to do it. He really, I think looking back into that episode again, through editing and through even actually watching that again, kind of bit by bit in my own time, I actually then kind of came to realize more that it wasn't just Xander being new to slaying or whatever, because then he was more than happy to actually go along with Buffy to begin with and to actually to fight with her, but then actually him and Jesse were friends for God knows how long, probably even childhood friends. So watching a friend that close watching a friend of that of that level, of that magnitude, actually being taken by the dark side, and then having him directly in front of your face, looking completely different, behaving different, and actually being told, even by Giles warning them that when they see Jesse, they won't really be seeing Jesse, but they'll be looking at the monstrous kind of nature that took him away from them, so then they have no choice but to kill him. But then Xander couldn't easily bring himself to do that, so it literally took a girl kind of running past him, nudging him onto the stake to actually kill him. So Xander's got a bit of ways to go, but I think maybe going forward he might show some more kind of resilience and strength, and he might show some more kind of level-headedness going forward. And honestly, for a first mission, it wasn't. People died still. People definitely still died, but at the same time, it's for a first mission, it wasn't really terrible. Everyone did their bit. Everyone did their piece, and they all did something. Willow actually throwing the holy water into Darla's face and making her run off, and then they still slayed some vamps, and then Buffy doing her usual Slayer gymnastics and actually tricking Luke into thinking they're nearby street lamp. I still can't get over the ingenuity of her tricking Luke into thinking their nearby street lamp was actually sunlight, and just God, for someone who comes from a breed of night dwellers, you'd think he would know exactly how long nighttime lasts for, but then I think maybe amidst the panic he just thought, oh, anything's possible, and then thought the sun had really kind of decided to come up early or something. But either way, she managed to use trickery and deceit to slay him, so props to her, props to Buffy. So the Master, the Master isn't dead. He's now just kind of been weakened. Now that he's lost his vessel and he's lost the other vampires, he's kind of weakened, and he's now just probably taken a super long nap down at the Hellmouth and everything. So he's not really got much left going for him. So he's just kind of going to be napping there until the next time to make him relevant again actually comes along. So yeah, again, it gives us all the more freedom to explore all new things and all new creatures, all new stories, and maybe even bring Angel back into the fold too. We've had a decent amount of Angel first couple of episodes. So I do look forward to seeing like how much more of him they actually do give us. And again, me already knowing he's a vampire, I think I'm just kind of curious as to when that reveal comes, because then, if viewers aren't, if as a viewer I'm not meant to know that just yet, then clearly that must mean that, like a big reveal is actually in the works. So I'm very curious as to how that reveal might go down and how the team might react. I mean, he hasn't even met the team. He's only met Buffy. He's only actually met Buffy, but he hasn't actually met the team yet. So I'm curious as to how that meeting will go down too. So yeah, fun stuff ahead. Very, very fun stuff ahead. And yeah, I mean, they've already established that like society pretty much turns like a blind eye to this stuff. Like even Giles saying that people will remember what they can actually understand, but then anything they can't. People will remember what they can rationalize and understand, but then anything they can't, then they just kind of ignore it and be like, that's just weirder stuff that I can't want to get into. But for the most part, society does pretty much enjoy just kind of keeping the curtain closed and staying behind it, and keeping everything unexplainable and paranormal and all that kind of stuff behind it. So it's going to be interesting going further into this series, I think, actually knowing that that's how people react. And then I think, that then could kind of provide some sense of anonymity for Buffy. I think the worst she might then get kind of recognized as is probably like the weird girl who just goes around stabbing people. So then, I mean, that would be kind of like a cause for concern. But beyond that, she probably wouldn't get into too much trouble. And then there's stuff with her mother too. So I mean, that kind of relationship is something I'm curious as to how it's going to get pulled off even further. Like her already kind of like spending late nights and going out and doing all this stuff, and especially with what actually got kicked her out the last time. I think her mother's probably even more concerned, and then she, lets her do this stuff, but then she doesn't really. Also, I think people actually pointed out in the last reaction, like she doesn't really fully kind of know how to kind of communicate or how to actually approach Buffy on these topics without seeming overbearing or like too overconnective or like the typical kind of parent would. But I think, when your child does this, and when your child gets kicked out of school for doing that, and then, she also does this kind of stuff, I think you just really can't help but wonder what is really going on. So yeah, all this stuff I am eager to get into. So yeah, that is pretty much all I've got from the last episode. Very excited to go into this one. So let's go on to episode number 3, the reaction for episode number 3. And as you guys will know by now, this one will just be the fair use version with the highlights and the best bits of the episode. But if you want the full-length version of the reaction, then that one will be over on Patreon. So you can go check it out over there. That'll be just as much fun. But yeah, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 1, Episode 3. Let's go.
I make allowances for your youth, but I expect a certain amount of responsibility, and instead of which you enslave yourself to this cult.
A cult?
You don't like the color?
Oh, cheerleading. Oh, she's gonna become a cheerleader.
Do you ignore everything I say?
Cheerleading is a cult.
I want to have a life. I want to do something normal.
This will also provide a great cover story. Tell her mum that she's going cheer practice or something. Not that I would encourage lying, but still, it's something. Oh, a cauldron. A cauldron of green stuff. What's this? A doll. Damn, the splits. Oh. That is a very physically consuming activity.
Yours, always.
It came that way, really. They all said that.
Those are really glittery pom-poms, yeah. I'm more familiar with the actual glittery ones, yeah. Whoa, is she smoking?
What the?
Is she smoking?
That girl's on fire! And that's for the hyperbole.
In a literal sense, Cordelia. Whoa, she's on fire. She is literally on fire. Oof, jeez, yep, tackled the cheerleader to the ground, yeah. Oh, good God. Oof. It's got to have something to do with the doll, right? The doll under the thing, the cauldron. Was it a witch? Was it a witch? Yeah, like hexing a doll. Hexing a doll or something, yeah. So then you can actually get a needle when you stab it, or drown it, or in this case, fucking set fire to it. Yeah, damn. Okay, so someone really doesn't like cheerleaders at Sunnydale.
But that's the thrill of living on the Hellmouth. There's a veritable cornucopia of fiends and devils and ghouls to engage.
Well, I'm glad you feel occupied, Giles.
Pardon me for finding the glass.
Any common denominators in cases of spontaneous combustion?
It's like the Human Torch, only it hurts.
How did you get the skinny on Amber?
I laugh in the face of danger. Then I hide until it goes away.
Okay, just walk softly. Listen to me know a little more. I mean, this is my gallery's first major show.
You know, it might not physically kill you to give me a hand here.
With her strength, she could get
It was
bare
cheerleading.
hands.
Good.
She trains with her mom like 3 hours a day.
Uh-huh.
Sounds like her mom's pretty into it.
Sounds like her mom doesn't have a lot to do.
So you can't say Buffy doesn't want to connect.
Jeepers.
Jeepers. Was that foreshadowing? Was that foreshadowing? Really? Was that foreshadowing?
She and my dad were homecoming king and queen. They got married right after graduation.
Wow, so high school sweethearts.
Well, he was a big loser. Never made any money. Ran off with Miss Trailer Trash when I was 12.
Yeah.
Okay, that part's less
So not, still high school sweethearts, but just not long-lasting sweethearts.
Yeah, her mom's kind of Nazi-like. Kyle. If she gains an ounce, she
Nazi?
and won't eat anything but broth.
Wait, what?
So, Mom,
Maybe drowning her this time, but you can't. Whoa, Jesus.
I have a dream. It's me on the cheerleading squad, adored by every varsity male as far as the eye can see. We have to achieve our
Jeez.
dreams.
Pretty sure I actually felt my heart stopping for a second there.
If your supreme clutchiness out there today takes me out of the running, you're gonna be so very beyond sorry. Have a nice day.
Okay.
The bracelet, she was wearing it, right? It's pretty much like we're going out.
Oh, for Christ's sake,
the
son.
hugging or kissing or...
So I'm just a figure of fun. That's why you're so cool. You're like a guy. You're my guy friend that knows about girl stuff.
Oh, great.
Oh, your
I'm a guy.
girlfriend that knows about girl
Posting a
stuff.
list. Cover me, I'm going in.
You're going in. Why are you going in? Xander.
You're lucky.
I made it?
Oh,
I made it.
Oh, shit. Oh, that's why she's lucky.
one of those girls hit me really hard. We should test for steroids. Okay, not only did you make the team, but you, Miss Summers, are the first alternate.
Alternates are the ones who didn't make the team. They only fill in if something happens to the ones who
Oh,
didn't.
so they're like reserves. They're benched,
Excuse me.
pretty much. Yeah.
Except they
Oh.
sacrifice
Oh, damn. What's this?
Delia.
Cordelia?
Feed on her.
Whoa. What's the witch doing to Cordelia? Wait, is she gonna drown? So they set freaking Amber on fire, and then now Cordelia's gonna drown.
Oh, this just in. I'm not you. And I'm into my own thing.
Your own thing, whatever it is, got you kicked out of school, and we had to move here to find a decent school that would take you.
I mean, I think at least Buffy has the right idea of actually doing what you want to do. In that
Cordelia, you haven't been mean to me all day. Is it something I've done?
moment.
Okay, see how she has no clue that I'm even a mammal, like as a human being?
Flunked driver's ed twice already. Show me some moves or you'll be taking the bus to college.
Oh, so they actually teach you to drive in school. Wow, okay. Oh boy. Oh, phew. Oh, she can't see. She can't see. Oh no, oh, R.I.P. all the cones. R.I.P. cones. Oh god. Oh no, out onto the road. Oh no. Oh no. Buffy, come on. Come on. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Oh, God.
What's happening? I can't see anything.
Oh yeah, her eyes have gone pure white. Her eyes are fully white.
Witchcraft.
No wonder you can still afford a house in Sunnydale.
Yeah. No one wants to live here.
Maybe because they met her?
Amy.
Amy.
So you guys are leaning towards Amy.
Amy's
Desperate
mother.
to get on that team. I mean, I've got this feeling she'd do just about anything.
Amy's mother, isn't she meant to be like Nazi? Like maybe she's like I don't know, immortal or something, or powerful in some way.
I think we should be sure she's the witch before we arouse her suspicions.
I don't think Amy would go that far. It has to be the mother. Has to be the mother taking out obstacles in her daughter's way. It has to be the mother.
Witches, Historic Roots to Modern Practice. Checked out by Alexander Harris.
Alexander
Megan
Harris.
Wright, checked out by...
All right, all right.
Oh, so he's into witchcraft and he's researched
Look at the
witchcraft.
semi-nude engravings?
Oh, well,
Oh, he's into the pictures.
Have you all quite
He's
finished?
into the pictures.
Maybe something in here.
Are they really that? Like, are the pictures really that saucy? Are they really that?
Oh, and you'll need some eye of nude.
Ah, yes, classic Eye of Newt.
Those
Good
of
old
you
Eye
in
of
track
Newt.
1 may begin your dissections.
I think I'm still calling it Amy's mother. It's got to be Amy's mother. It's got to be Amy's mother. That feels like a good enough twist. Oh, wait.
Oh my god.
Huh? Oh, her mouth. Oh, her mouth is gone. Is it really Amy? Her mouth is gone, like Neo from the Matrix. His mouth. Stitching it.
The test was positive. She's our
It was positive. It turned blue. Maybe like the witch thing is like genetics, so it passes down. So she has witch genetics, but not the actions. She's not actually doing any witchy behaviors. Oh, Amy, please tell me it's not actually you. I was so badly kind of counting on it being your mother.
Another productive day in front of the TV.
Is this the mother?
I got a history.
Oh, this
report
is the
due
mother.
tomorrow. Write it.
Catherine, I think her name was. This.
I should be on that team by now.
Amy! Oh!
Miss Buffy and friends are sneaking around stealing bits of my hair.
And she's aware. She fully knows. And she fully. Oh, she got the. Oh no, Xander.
I'll be upstairs.
Damn. Okay, so Amy is. Okay, I was. Okay, so Amy is. Amy is fully the witch. Amy is fully the witch.
Willow! Xander! My buds are here! I love my buds!
Oh, yeah, she's really energetic, yeah.
Is it me or is Buffy a bit looped?
Yeah. She just flung her across the entire
I do that.
hall.
You are so out of here.
Oh,
it's not her
jeez.
fault.
She's on medication.
Who's our next alternate?
Amy.
Oh.
That would be Amy.
You just made cheerleader.
Oh, she's finally on the team.
You don't want her. She's a woman.
Yeah, so now Amy's on the team.
Witchy, Buffy. You're my Xander-shaped friend. Any idea why I love you so, Xander?
You gotta get her to
Let her speak.
You're not like other boys at all. Totally and completely one of the girls. I'm not comfy with him.
That's great.
Any other guy had given me a bracelet, I don't feel so good.
No, she's crashing now. She's crashing. She's crashing. She was hyper for a good few hours. Now she's crashing.
This is a bloodstone vengeance spell.
A bloodstone vengeance.
Like a verb. Well, the other way is to cut the witch's head off.
Show of hands.
Great. So
Not Amy's fault.
spell book
She
or
only became a
beheading.
witch to survive her mother.
You know, these kids today.
She doesn't have power.
She's out of her mind.
Yeah, Amy's more powerful
Ever
than
since
she
Dad,
is.
her dad left, I can't control her.
Are you Amy?
I don't understand.
What? No, she's Catherine.
She switched your bodies, didn't she? She wanted to relive her glory days.
Oh, so the mother is in Amy's body. She.
She said I was wasting my youth.
Oh, fuck me. Oh, that explains even more. Wow, just twist after twist, twist after twist.
I mean, when Dad was here, they would fight and yell, and he would call her a witch, and
Oh,
just thought he
God.
meant-
So the daughter is in the mother's body.
Amy, it's gonna be okay.
Oh, Amy. So this is the real Amy.
Let's go.
Collect those dolls and any other personal.
Oh, Christ.
Nice.
Can't, you know, I actually can believe I was fucking jump scared by a cat. I can very much believe that I was jump scared by a fucking cat. I can. Jeez, first Cordelia, now a cat. Just what is with this show? So she's not gonna hurt anyone else unless they get in her way, right? Because now she's made it. She's a cheerleader. She's on the team. She's doing reliving her glory days again. Oh. Oh. Oh, she go flashing back and forth between bodies.
Do you actually ride a broom?
Oh boy, oh, force choking, not the force choking. Oh no, force choking. Oh god, Willow. Oh. Come on, release already. Oh no. Oh no. Come on, release. There we go. Fleshy flash, release. Okay. Okay, Amy's back in her body. Amy's back in her body. And Catherine, back in hers.
Buffy?
Amy?
Oh, yeah, Catherine's definitely back in hers. Catherine's definitely back in her body. Oh god. Oh, Giles.
I gave up my life so you could drag that worthless carcass around and call it living. She's never been anything but trouble.
I feel better.
Oh, yes, Slayer strength is back. Slayer strength is back. Whoa.
I shall look upon her, and the dark place will have her soul.
Whoa.
Corsheth, take her!
Corsheth. Oh. Oh, deflection. Deflected off the mirror. Oh, Corsheth will have your soul instead. Okay, no beheading then. Just transporting her to whatever dark place.
You saved my life. You are a god.
Well, I didn't think you'd pull it off.
I got her! Cut her head off!
No, Xander, no.
Saving you?
It's fine.
Get your hands off of her.
But she's evil.
No more.
It wasn't exactly her.
Yeah. Where is she?
Hey,
Okay, Willow, you can put the bat down. Yeah.
Yes? Yeah, I took care of it.
Hey, A for effort. They still come in swinging quite eventually.
I think there's a biological imperative whereby I can't understand you because I'm not 16.
Generational thing.
Do you ever wish you
Generational
could be
disconnect.
16 again? I love you, Mom.
Well, that's a happy ending for them. Yeah, that's a happy ending for them.
Wherever she is, I don't think we'll have to worry.
The dark place. Oh, that's just creepy. Oh, is she stuck in the door? Is she stuck in the trophy? Is Catherine stuck in the trophy? She's stuck in the trophy. Okay. So yeah, that was fun. That was very fun, very interesting, very kind of, very good at keeping me on my toes. That kind of episode. Twists here and there and different kind of, very speculation inducing kind of moments, and just kind of got me thinking. And I think, I was so confident in my initial twist prediction. I was so confident, and then they were like, nope, gonna twist the tables, nope, gonna twist the tables again. So I love that. I think I actually love that, and like the episode itself's ability to keep me on my toes is very, very admirable and very kind of appreciated. I think I just love when a TV show can do that and stuff. And when it's actually mixed in, obviously, I think every episode doing that can get kind of very, tedious. But then if they can actually do that every now and then, actually surprise you in those kinds of ways, then all the more power to them. But yeah, so this episode we deal with witches and witchcraft and witchy stuff. So yeah, and I think in terms of appearance, they definitely went with the traditional kind of witchy kind of look. And I think the more I go into this, the more kind of certain I feel that pretty much every creature, every type of mythology, every kind of monster we kind of experience and we actually kind of get to see in this is likely going to go for that traditional look. And I think it's to do with the kind of familiarity that then builds with the show and actually builds within viewers too. Like if we actually see monsters we recognize, we're all the more likely to actually kind of appreciate them and actually view them in that kind of a light. Whereas with shows later down the line, because I think, again, like me having consumed, shows that came out after this, before watching this, I can't really help but kind of draw back to how I actually originally saw them, because especially with I couldn't help but draw back to Supernatural and stuff because they by nature have actually touched upon pretty much every different kind of monster and force of evil that they could, and witches were definitely one of them. But then of course with them being somewhat more creative and somewhat more their kind of lore being a lot more malleable and a lot more kind of differential to this, I think they definitely kind of changed things up a bit and actually kind of made things different. But with this one, they like the witches has a whole creepy lair in the loft, and like a green like a cauldron with bubbly green shit, and everything you would recognize a witch to be and a witch to do and stuff. I was half expecting there to be some kind of true form for the witch too. I think I was wondering, are they going to go that far? Because I think they have the classic kind of scowly face for the vampire. So I was wondering, are they going to have the witch, they're going to have Catherine actually revealing that she actually has like a true green form. Like maybe it's like, oh, you go into witchcraft and then maybe it's like maybe like once you go into witchcraft, or maybe if you just are a witch by nature, then if you're a witch by nature, then maybe you actually have that green form hidden, like that green kind of classic witch form hidden. But then, similar to vampires, you actually have a more human form that you can use as a disguise. Or, you know, maybe then if like the more you go into witchcraft, the more kind of distorted your true nature actually becomes, because you're drawing on all this power, you're using this power, you're harming other people, so then that kind of taints you and it turns you into something else. Similar to how like in Supernatural with the Wendigo, like one like the more you consume human flesh, the more like the Wendigo and less human you become. So yeah, but no, yeah. So this one, so we had the witches and cheerleading too. Buffy wanting to try out for cheerleading. And it's in '96. I noticed one of the banners said 1996. Cheer Squad. I trust it said '96. The font was a little kind of different, and the camera was moving fast. So I'm trusting it said '96. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think that kind of like Buffy wanting to go into cheer also kind of makes a lot of sense. I think on the one hand, it's like, you know, like her her initial reasoning being like, you know, oh, it'll be cool to have a normal life, and it'll be cool to actually try and do something a bit more human besides from constantly hunting down monsters and beheading them and saying fire to their remains and all that jazz. And I think that makes sense. But then I think, you know, me kind of me just like still kind of thinking of it in like a superhero-y kind of identity kind of way, or like a secret identity kind of way. I was thinking, oh, like that would be a great cover, like, you know, and like literally almost anytime you need to do something a bit off the grid, you could just say, oh yeah, I'm going off for cheer practice. Probably not late at night when the school's closed and everything, but you know, any other time you need to actually be off the grid or go like somewhere and do stuff, and you could just be like, you know, oh, I have cheer practice and everything. And I mean, that might not work too well, because then on the off chance that her mother does call into the school and ask if she's still there, then they'll be like, Buffy hasn't shown up today for cheer practice at all. And I think she hasn't actually been to any of our cheer practice sessions, and she just kind of comes in on the official days and hopes for the best. So yeah, I mean, you know, definitely would have to work around it in like a much more kind of professional and kind of very, very secretive kind of way. But yeah, I think for Buffy though, for the most part, it is just her also just wanting like a normal life too. And I think, and especially because, like, you know, to begin with, she was actually ready to drop the life. She was actually ready to actually retire the slaying life, like after what it initially very nearly kind of cost her. So she was very, very close to dropping it. And then she comes to Sunnydale, and then, you know, like easily, had Sunnydale not been the beacon it was, and had Giles not been here, had there been no kind of need or cause for any vampire slayage or any other monster slayage, then she easily would have actually just gone back to being Buffy Summers and stuff like that. So I think this is like legitimately her wanting her own normal, fun, kind of physically active kind of life and everything. And she just, I mean, if she's definitely got the strength the strength and speed and all the necessary attributes for vampire slaves. So she could easily make it as a cheerleader and everything. And I can't get over that intro of Giles being like, you know, you're the Slayer, you have responsibilities. I didn't think you'd succumb to your youth and join this cult. And then it's just Buffy standing there with two pom-poms and everything. So that was a fun one. But yeah, so cheerleading, I think in this context, I guess in this episode, you know, actually trying out for cheerleading alone is a very risky thing. Yeah, it's, you know, like a cutthroat business and all that kind of stuff. But then, of course, if you're going up against Amy, then may she have mercy on you. May she have mercy on you. So yeah, see, I mean, we had Amber, who was literally smoking, and then her arms got set on fire too. And I think especially in that case, like her arms, like that would easily be like second or third degree burns. I think they were. I think pretty sure like they were like short sleeve shirts and stuff. So, and easily her whole arm was on fire. So that's easily like skin like burning through the skin and getting to the flesh. So I think that's easily like a pretty like, you know, concerning kind of injury. So I'm hoping she's actually okay. And then there was Amber, and then there was Cordelia. I don't know why I keep forgetting her name and actually almost mispronouncing it with something else, which I'm not going to say. But Cordelia, she went blind. She went fully blind. Like, I think her sight actually gradually decreased. And I thought because of her doll being wrapped up and then actually put in the actual like just fully dropped into the cauldron to drown in the green liquid. I thought it was gonna be like, oh, she's gonna drown, or she's gonna like be choked to death or something like that. I think at first, I think because she put the first hooper on there, I thought it was going to be a noose. I thought, oh god, she's actually going to kill Cordelia. She's going to try and hang Cordelia. But then no, but then she put more of the cloth on. So I thought, okay, maybe this is suffocation. But then no, and then she just dunks it in the water. And I was like, okay, what, is she going to drown? Because clearly she wants to cause harm to these people. But then like first it's setting fire to the cheerleaders. At this time, it's clearly causing actual kind of proper in like direct bodily harm. But I think in Cordelia's case, it definitely felt somewhat more like indirect too, like actually making it look like an accident and actually making her gradually go blind and going in her driver's ed and then actually going out onto the road and almost being hit by that giant van and everything. So Cordelia's one was just her losing her sight temporarily, so that was not so fun either. And I think I've seen that in Teen Wolf too. In not the blindness, but I think the actual driver's ed thing being in schools. I think the recent episode of Teen Wolf I watched actually had Malia taking driver's ed lessons at school. So I think that is definitely seems like a thing. Maybe not exclusive to the US, but I think it doesn't really happen here in the UK. Like in that way, in that fashion. Like schools do not really bother to teach you driver's ed over here. So I think maybe American schools. I think it's actually been mentioned to me that kids in the middle of their teen years actually are encouraged to take driver's ed lessons when they're in school. And I think schools have if movies and TV shows from there are anything to go by, then schools definitely do allow teenagers, like students, to actually come to actually drive to school and park their cars or their bikes or whatever. So I guess they're actually encouraged to take their driver's ed and actually learn to drive as soon as they legally can. So so I think having driver's ed in school, I think that it seems like it offers more incentive to actually having it be like a mandatory thing through school. Like I think maybe not something that actually adds into your official final kind of high school grade, but still actually having it be like a mandatory, or possibly likely mandatory thing in like high school actually seems like it offers more incentive to you. Like so then you have to get it. So then people like me who might procrastinate it for like 5 or 6 years, then don't wait until the very last minute. So so driver's ed, going blind during driver's ed almost killed Cordelia. So that was also not so fun. And then I can't remember what her name was, but the girl in the science lab, she was her mouth actually taped up, and I think they did a great job with the makeup on that one. I think the CGI on the fire in the beginning was pretty well done. That was fairly well done, but especially I think the kind of mouth being covered up, in the mouth actually being like just closed shut, like not even to the point where her lips weren't even visible. Like that is that reminded me directly of the scene from The Matrix where Neo his mouth slowly kind of glues itself shut to the point where his lips aren't even visible. Like there's no exit or entry point. And like for that girl it was the same thing. I think to begin with there was actually a shot where it looked like a piece of prosthetic covering her mouth, but then because the spells are gradual as time went on, it then went to the point where just like her it's like her lips were never there. Like she still has teeth and a tongue and everything on the inside, but like her lips were never there at all. That is some really good. I think that has to be possibly a mixture of CGI, but I think in that case I think it would be much more kind of effective and easier to actually pull off practically with prosthetics or whatever. But that one was good. That one got to me. That one got me. I think the fire stuff. I think it's easier to actually appreciate that as like CGI. But then the mouth thing, that was like, wow, that is freaky, and that is also really good. That's actually a really good job on the actual visual kind of effects and everything. And I think definitely kind of props to the practical kind of makeup department or whoever. But that one got to me too. That one was good. And yeah, so then we see that Buffy actually really does want to connect with her mother. Buffy and her mother do deep down want to be able to connect with each other. They want to be able to actually be like have that mother-daughter dynamic and relationship that they often see in other people, but also like the one that they kind of maybe feel that they naturally should have, where they talk and they're open and they just get things and everything. But with Buffy, obviously, like for Buffy, it's like her true extracurricular activities and added responsibilities aren't really aren't really the easiest thing to open up about. And also, I think definitely like yeah, I think that's also like where like the whole kind of the kind of added like superhero style identity crisis thing might kind of come into play, because of the fact that like on the one hand, it's like her mother probably wouldn't believe her at all, or like even if she did, it would be like, oh, this is too dangerous, I don't want you doing this anymore. So then her mother would try and pull her out of it, and then that would be a problem. Or then maybe like even if her mother does believe it and then does indulge it, then maybe like it's like the case of like, oh, if my enemies knew who my family and friends were, then no one would be safe and all that kind of jazz. So there's that kind of thing. But also I think what I can appreciate definitely is that Buffy already has that kind of instilled belief in her that she wants to do what she wants to do. She, like she wants to pursue the um even if she does do something in her part time, even if she does do anything else with her life besides playing, she wants to make sure that it's actually something that she feels good with and she feels is right and comfortable. Like she doesn't want to have to do what other kids might do and follow in her parents' footsteps or follow in anyone's footsteps, but she wants to do something that she can actually see herself enjoying and actually gaining something out of, be it knowledge and or experience or passion and stuff. So I can definitely kind of admire and respect and appreciate that kind of side to her being there already and everything. So that's really cool. And then like her mother kind of like, I think, I mean, again, I think I can definitely also appreciate that like her mother wasn't necessarily forcing her to pick different things. Like her mother was actually making suggestions based on her own past in high school and based on what she enjoyed. So she did kind of encourage her to do things. But she definitely did like encourage her to do like, oh, join the school yearbook, the yearbook club, and actually do something there. So I think yearbook, I think you take pictures of the students, or I don't know, you yearbook. I mean, besides from pictures, I don't know what else they might do. Like maybe help produce the books, or I don't know, just something. So like actually join the yearbook kind of thing. Maybe even organize stuff so that they can go in the yearbook, or like just be in the club in general. That was her kind of suggestion, and then like for her, it's what she remembered doing that she really enjoyed and she really loved. So and again, like for her, that was her like encouragement, but not necessarily kind of forcing, not being like, oh, you're gonna join the yearbook club tomorrow, or else I'm disowning you as a fucking daughter. So none of that, none of that kind of toxicity or anything, but just kind of her trying to actually gauge some kind of ideas of who her daughter wanted to be. So I think because there's already that kind of a baseline, I think it's like easier to sense that they're headed in the right direction, and also like the fact that they do talk and they do want to talk and then they do want to be together and actually connect and everything. So, but like that alone gives me some kind of higher hopes for the future of their kind of relationship in the show, and how things might be moving forward with them on like a more human, more personal level. But then as these threats kind of grow, you can't really help but be kind of concerned as to like, is she ever going to find out? Is she going to get involved? Is something going to happen to her? Like, is Buffy going to lose her mother to all this, or is her mother going to lose Buffy to this in a way that she feels like is like just as bad as death or something, or I don't know. But I mean, so far I think it just seems like they're really doing a good job actually laying the groundwork for who Buffy and her, for who Buffy and Joyce are as people, and also like as mother and daughter and stuff. So yeah, that's cool. And I think even by the end of it, Buffy actually then figuring out that Cheer really wasn't for her. Even I think maybe even with or without the actual witchcraft stuff going on, like Cheer wasn't really for her. Like for her, I think she's still open to trying new things, and then if it doesn't really work out, then she has all the more freedom to drop it. So that happened, and then I think even more, even more than that was actually Joyce kind of admitting, like, you know what, I don't really get you. I don't really get you. I don't really get this kind of age group anymore. I don't really get like what kids are like these days. But regardless, she loves Buffy. She loves her daughter. She wants her to be safe and happy and all these different things. And she wants to make sure that like whatever she does do with her life, she is happy. Because then like obviously her being her daughter, Buffy being happy makes her mother happy and everything, and I think she's definitely kind of honest that, you know, like there is an undeniable, like as expected, there is like that kind of undeniable kind of generational gap that prevents them from properly connecting, even without Slade or any kind of supernatural stuff getting in the way. Like there is that kind of common generational gap that gets in the way of them truly understanding each other, or understanding how they feel and everything and stuff. But I think that doesn't really stop Buffy's mother from actually wanting to try it. Like it doesn't stop Joyce from actually wanting to try and understand her and to try and get her. But then even in the end, afterwards, she still doesn't get it, but she's willing to try. And I think as a parent, she as a parent, that is all really you need. That's like the baseline thing you need to do, even if you don't understand your kids. You need to try. You need to try and be there for them. Try and like learn about them. Try and definitely try and love them and everything. So I think Joyce has already gotten all that stuff nailed down, and as a parent would, she's still trying to make sure that Buffy doesn't she's still discouraging Buffy from doing anything that might get her into trouble again, for both of their sakes again. So yeah, definitely the Joyce and Buffy stuff so far is actually seeming already kind of seeming like somewhat of like a highlight to the show so far, actually showing that, you know, like this mother who's working so hard to actually try and provide for herself and her daughter, and also actually trying to be there in her daughter's life, and actually trying to be present, and actually being like, you know, I'm not just your mother, but, you know, you can, you know, like a, you know, I mean, I guess perhaps like a friend too, and actually, you know, like someone she can be open with, someone she can talk to, someone that, you know, can try and understand how she's feeling. But I think that kind of latter part is what she's already kind of admitted is a bit of a struggle here. So yeah. And then we had a bit of Xander being into Buffy, which, who can blame him? Let's be honest. Who can blame Xander? Who can blame him? But, you know, I think you know, with Xander, there is I did call him unique. And that was in no way an insult. That was in no way an insult. I love his character so far. He is actually really lovable and funny and kind of dorky and you know, dorky. And him and Willow. I said, like, to me, like, so far, like him. So far, him and Willow do seem like simultaneously unique, independent characters, but also pretty much like a package deal too. You get the adorableness in Willow, and you also get the dorkiness in Xander. So then you get the adorableness that is Willow and Xander. So yeah, not to say that they're like a pairing or anything. I don't know if that's actually a thing that exists in the fandom, but if it is, then I don't know about it yet. But you know, either way, I think Xander, he definitely has, like, you know, like not, I think probably not even a persistence, because I think it's only been like this episode so far that he's really kind of like shown this kind of interest. Like, I think that he definitely kind of did show like attraction to Buffy before, but I think it's only in this episode so far that he's actually showed that, you know, he actually does like want to ask her out, and he actually does want to, you know, see if she's interested in him and stuff. And so he even brought her that cute little kind of ID bracelet thing, and I said, like, you know, I think it actually had something engraved on it too. I think yours always, or forever, like forever yours, or like something sweet and something kind of romantic and everything. And then I genuinely thought she might turn it over, and then it actually might say Buffy on the inside, like maybe he actually had like a special bracelet engraved for her. And I think, you know, I mean, unless it was going to be some kind of a friendship, I mean Buffy doesn't really seem too much like the kind of girl who's into friendship bracelets or those kinds of memorabilia kind of things, either way. But I think even if it was going to be a friendship bracelet, I think even if it was going to be a bracelet, I think like a friendship bracelet would be the easier kind of way to go, because I think this one just seems like an obvious kind of romantic gift that neither of them is really ready to actually kind of go forth into, in that sense. So yeah, I think because of that, I think it just kind of shows that he kind of is that kind of guy. He does actually put his kind of foot forward, and he could possibly be described as actually putting his heart, as to wearing his heart on his sleeve too. So he's that kind of guy. But I think it's also just that like him actually actively showing some interest in her and actually being like semi-open about it. I mean, obviously, like being open about it in front of Willow, but then actually, you know, but then in front of Buffy, understandably, actually being like stumbling with his words and being nervous and stuttering and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, but he is interested in Buffy. So I definitely, I for one, I really can't see anything happening. I think it's partially because, um, because of the fact that, you know, it seems a lot more obvious that they're all just going to be friends. It seems so much more obvious that, you know, friendship is going to be what binds this group together. It's what's going to be what binds these three people together, and it's what's going to be keeping them together. Like, friendship is going to be that core kind of foundation that builds, and we see kind of flourish and thrive throughout the show. But then also partially because this is actually set like back then too. This is actually set back in the late 90s. I think for some reason, I think it just kind of gives me that vibe. It's like it just kind of gives me that vibe of like, oh yeah, they're friends. So then because of that, it's like it's that much less likely to happen, because, like, you know, you don't really you don't often see or hear about friendships in these kind of stories, you know, actually kind of like blossoming into something more, and especially because of like given what kind of characters they are too. Like, he's the supporting male character, and then she's the leading female character. I mean, you know, like even like genders aside, like she's the lead and then he's a support, but then, you know, it's not often times, and I think especially especially in this kind of setting too, it's like, you know, I feel like, you know, like they might not put her into any kind of romance just yet either. Like they actually might just wait a while before giving her someone to actually pine for or lust after or chase after in any way, or even someone. I mean, she clearly has Xander already kind of like not chasing after her, but actually kind of being like actually pining after her in the kind of most minimalistic of ways. But it definitely doesn't really feel as much like, you know, doesn't really feel like as much of a likely kind of love story going on there. So I feel like even then they're definitely going to try it through Xander, but then they're also going to show that, you know, Buffy isn't interested in that way, but she still loves him. She's still going to grow to love him as one of her dearest friends and one of her closest friends, and then they're going to actually allow that friendship to be what drives the story forward, and it's going to be what, like, as a viewer, you can learn to appreciate even more the fact that they can still definitely stay friends. There's no toxicity there. There's nothing kind of remotely harmful or there's nothing remotely lesser about that either. Because I think like a lot of stories are notorious for treating friendships and treating like that kind of declaration of like platonic love as somehow lesser than romantic love, and be like, oh, if you're, you know, if you're someone's friend, then that automatically means that you don't mean as much to them, or that all this, like, you know, it's not as good as being in a relationship with them. But then, you know, I definitely kind of like I definitely somewhat get the vibe that, you know, like this show isn't really going to do that. It's actually going to show that, you know, like, these guys are friends, and that's what kind of, you know, makes them stronger. That's what actually keeps them together and makes them stronger, and actually helps them get through the good and the bad and the ugly and and everything. So yeah, I think this kind of introductory kind of pining kind of content was definitely kind of like a good kind of foray into what his feelings of Buffy are like, and then I do wonder if maybe, like, I mean, I do wonder, but then I also do hope if you know, like Xander, if he actually does ask her out, but then she also does reject him on the basis of actually wanting to be friends and wanting to actually keep him as a friend, then, you know, hopefully he actually does hopefully he actually does like react well to that too, and actually still cherish that just as much too. So but Xander is into Buffy, which again, can't blame him. You know, Buffy, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Sarah Michelle Gellar, iconic. So, you know, no one can really be blamed in that situation. So yeah. And then one thing I actually wanted to actually kind of mention was Buffy kind of opening up one of her mother's her artifact kind of boxes and everything, and actually opening up and being like, jeepers, and actually putting it back down again. I think that's that sounded very familiar even in that moment, right? And then I thought, wait, am I thinking of Jinkies? Then I was like, no, that's what Velma used to say. And then I was like, okay, like, so Scooby-Doo catchphrases, Jinkies was Velma's, Zoinks was Scooby's, Rutrow was Zoinks was Shaggy's. Zoinks was Shaggy's. Rutrow was Scooby's, and I'm pretty fucking sure Jeepers was Daphne's. I'm pretty sure Jeepers was Daphne's. Not only that, but I am 100% certain the Scooby-Doo movies came out way after this. And stuff, and very, very likely odds are Sarah Michelle Gellar in Buffy was what put her on the radar for the casting directors in Scooby-Doo as well. So I kind of wonder, like, if that was some kind of, I mean, obviously not intentional foreshadowing, because then I think no one could have known that Scooby-Doo was going to get made after this show, let alone actually having Sarah Michelle Gellar actually being cast on it. So I feel like it's just like the most fortuitous kind of foreshadowing too. And I think, but I mean, the animated show still existed. Like the animated shows definitely still existed beforehand. The animated movies, the animated shows, like the cartoons are way older than Buffy. So in that case, and I think, and you know, like for continuity's sake and for canon's sake, I think, you know, like the catchphrases would have easily been the exact same back then too. So in that case, I can't really. I think maybe then it's like really fortuitous foreshadowing, but maybe also like a sneaky little reference too. Maybe a sneaky little reference. I mean, not to say that those were. I mean, well, I feel like Zoinks and Rotro are definitely unique to Scooby-Doo. I think like I can't imagine like many people in real life were using those words before Scooby-Doo came up with them. But then Jinkies, also maybe Jinkies, but Jeepers, like, you know, Jeepers Creepers is, you know, like a term as well as a series of fucked up movies. But Jeepers, like on its own, it feels more like an actual natural kind of already common thing before Scooby-Doo, or maybe even something, you know, maybe like, you know, like a word kind of more popularized in real life, and because of its usage in Scooby-Doo too. So maybe it's actually like an actual sneaky reference in that regard too. But yeah, as soon as she said Jeepers, my mind, Scooby-Doo portrait of my mind just kind of lit up like a light bulb, or many light bulbs, and then I was like, wait, did they just do that? Did they actually just put that in there? Did they actually just kind of pull that reference off? So it's like, you know, is it a reference? Is it really fortuitous foreshadowing? What is it? But, you know, I think maybe likely a bit of both. I think, I mean, again, like maybe also unintentional foreshadowing, because I think they also, I think, if they're going to be looking into the future for whatever reason, they'd want to look into the future of this show and make sure it actually does well before thinking about its, like, you know, leading star going off to do another project, you know, decades in the future. So, well, maybe not decades, but still like in like somewhere in the future. But because I can't even remember when the live action Scooby-Doo movies came out. I think those must have been like mid 2000s, like definitely before. I think easily before 2010, because I remember watching them as a kid before 2010. So easily like mid to late like 2000s. Because I mean the CGI for it really holds up really well to this day too. So I think, you know, it can't be that old, but it also isn't really that much newer either. So yeah. And I have no idea when what year Buffy ended. So I don't know what the actual kind of gap is between Buffy finishing and then Sarah Michelle Gellar actually being hooked onto Scooby-Doo either. So yeah, I don't know, but either way, I don't think it's like her saying Jeepers, it fits, and, you know, I think naturally any Scooby-Doo fans, anyone who grew up with Scooby-Doo, anyone who enjoys it and who actually will remember those kinds of details, which aren't really like they're not really easily admissible, but, you know, still like anyone who knows that kind of info will probably try and connect the dots. So yeah, her saying Jeepers definitely, and I think, yeah, it's like even like running it back in my head now, I can definitely hear Daphne herself, like not even like live action Sarah Michelle Gellar Daphne, but an actual voice actress Daphne. I can definitely hear her saying, like, you know, Jeepers in her voice and everything. So yeah, that was just, you know, a point I wrote down and just thought it was noteworthy to discuss. So yeah, Buffy Summers saying Jeepers, just iconic. And so yeah, then the Amy stuff. This is going to be a lengthier discussion, given that it was twist after twist and so eerie and so creepy and so well executed. So I mean, one thing I actually do want to mention was that, like, Amy. Well, no, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, well, no, but like Amy didn't even mention it. It was actually Buffy. It was Buffy and Willow talking about Amy's mother, Catherine, and saying that her mother was Nazi-like. So I don't know. I mean, I was confused like upon hearing that too, and then Buffy questioned it, and then Willow was like, "Oh yeah, she's all about the Heil and stuff." So then I was like, that just had me confused right from the get go. Like, I mean, like for one thing, like, just needing clarification on exactly what Nazi like meant, and then also being like, in like how Nazi are we? I mean, any level of Nazi is bad, is just undeniably bad. But then, you know, and I think yeah, like I think like exactly like I don't know what exactly what they meant by that. Like, is she like behaviorally or like mental? Is she like just like that discriminatory towards people? Like, is it discrimination or is it like just her kind of attitude about I think I just could not like for the life of me figure out what they actually meant by Nazi. Because it can, I feel like maybe it can mean quite a few things, but then all those things are just equally kind of as bad as each other. So then I don't exactly they didn't really just they didn't really go into it. They just called her they just called her Nazi and then just kind of left it at that. So I think I don't know if it's if it's actually open to some kind of interpretation, or maybe it's like just or maybe if they're just like actually using that term to describe something that's like actually still bad, but maybe not to that level, or I don't know if it's just like the social commentary of that time. But they called her Nazi-like, and Willow even kind of confirmed it with the Heil kind of reference and everything. Um, so I had no idea what what that meant. I had no idea what that meant. I didn't know what to expect from Amy or her mother if we were going to see her at all. I don't know if we were actually going to see her, like doing like something with I don't know, like from that point on, I was just confused and I was just befuddled. I was like, okay, like what exactly are we classifying as Nazi? And like how like extensive is this descriptor? So. And I think thinking about it now, I don't even know if I'm meant to take it seriously because then we even actually got like a glimpse of Catherine being back in her body, but then even that scene was actually focused more on her actual witchcraft and her being malicious in that intent, but nothing. I mean, not yet. I think nothing too inherently like Nazi-like or even fascist or anything. So I think I don't know if I don't know if I don't even know if I'm actually meant to take if I'm meant to take if we're meant to take that description literally, or if it's just like them using that word to describe something bad, or if it's like maybe like if they likely don't mean literally, but maybe she's still just kind of abusive or controlling, maybe, and stuff. So I think maybe that I think definitely controlling and abusive towards Amy. So I think probably like actually, I mean, but then I think that's not really exclusive to Nazis. Like you can definitely be an abuser and like you can definitely be an abuser without explicitly being a Nazi. So I don't know. I think if that's just like a misused kind of term, or like a misused kind of like a description, maybe if they're actually just giving her that word, but then they actually just don't mean anything as bad as a Nazi. So I don't know. It just it got me. It just kind of got me confused and befuddled for a second. So there was that. But yeah, no. But her mother was a former cheerleader for Sunnydale. Her mother actually went to Sunnydale, and she was a former cheerleader, and she was one of the greats too. She was literally called Catherine the Great, and she had a picture in the cabinet with her trophy and everything. So she was easily prized and treasured over there and stuff. So that was that, and then Amy, definitely they're definitely gonna give off that kind of vibe of so badly wanting to be like her mother, and even actually, and I think even actually, and I think looking back to it now, I think what even got me was the fact that like Catherine herself passed Amy off as this girl who was, I think, because she wanted, I think because deep down she actually wanted her to be afraid of failing and to be afraid of disappointing her as her mother. I think Catherine really actually kind of actually instead of passing Catherine, instead of passing Amy. Instead of passing Amy off as someone who was determined and steadfast and headstrong and not afraid of anyone, like instead of actually passing her off as that kind of character, she instead passed her off as someone who was really afraid of failure and really kind of anxious about winning and actually anxious about getting a place on the team and being like, oh, if I flunk this, then my mother's going to kill me, she's going to hate me forever because it was her thing, and it's now all of a sudden my dream. So it's like, she was constantly nervous about not being able to fulfill that dream, but then, so I think that's just more layers of Catherine actually kind of. I don't know. Maybe Catherine just adding like her own layers of fear into her daughter through her own literal kind of speech and action and stuff. So that was kind of like disturbing there. So that was that. But like with that backstory being set up of her being raised by her mother after her dad left, and her kind of then like Catherine forging Amy out to be forging her out to be a daughter who was then chasing her mother with her own dreams and actually aspiring to be exactly like her mother, I figured then maybe that was then still the case, and Amy still was herself, but just kind of terrified of disappointing and like not living up to her mother's standards. But then in that case, maybe her mother knew about this, and maybe her mother really was the witch back at home in the loft and doing all this kind of potion stuff and everything. So I thought, okay, that feels like a completely logical twist. Like maybe and especially like the mother being described as Nazi. Like I'm telling you, that description is just stuck around in my brain. I was actually trying to figure out what for so long, like what could Nazi like actually mean? How could they be applying it to her and to her character and everything? So I thought, oh, maybe she's actually like dressed up or like disturbingly in it or something. Maybe she's actually like a controlling and kind of oppressive kind of witch in the loft of their family home, or something, and then maybe she's at home actually watching stuff. Like maybe as a witch she's got like a secret kind of charm style kind of portal, like a peephole into the school, and she can actually see like Cordelia and all the other girls actually being up against her daughter in competition. So then maybe her mother is actually kind of, you know, like not so secretly but also kind of dangerously supporting her daughter's dreams, and maybe she's actually doing it, or maybe she's even forcing her daughter to go into this, because then I think, you know, like even before knowing the twist, I think it definitely gave off that impression that, you know, like her mother was actually forcing her to go into this too, and then Amy, believing that she had no other choice, she then forced herself into this and actually told her this is what's best for you and this is what's best for your mother too. So then she felt like she was all the more destined for this, and because of that, you know, she then naturally had competition going into this. So then, like, her mother maybe was actually just taking out the competition, taking out all the other kind of reserves and all the other kind of cheerleaders that actually might be up there on the front lines anyhow, right up until her daughter would be able to actually go on the team and get picked and be able to perform and everything. So they've really got me going. They've really set me up, twist after twist. They've really set me up, and I appreciate it. I appreciate when a show can actually surprise me in that kind of way. So yeah. And then even the team opts to work together to actually try and do some investigating and to actually do some testing on the witch and everything, and then the library and investigating this stuff. And Xander has checked out 2 different books on witchcraft and everything. Alexander Harris checked out various different books on witchcraft and those kind of topics and everything, and apparently it's just for the actual kind of the like nude and explicit kind of drawing scene. I mean in those books, would they really be that visual or that kind of graphic? I think, and would they even be that kind of proportionate too? I think those older drawings are, I think they're not really fully meant to actually represent the human body like in like an accurate form either. I think a lot of those are actually meant to be kind of explicitly or like intentionally kind of disproportionate or crooked in some ways. I don't know if he. I don't know, and I think especially that kind of content too, because that kind of artwork would not be made with, you know, like human like passion or arousal or any of that kind of like any of that kind of desire in mind. Like it would literally not be drawn or designed or put there in a way that they actually kind of even half expect, like for a human being to be attracted to or to use for whatever. So I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, of all the books you could have chosen, because goes without saying, I felt like, you know, like magazines probably be a thing back then, but even then, it's like even like stuff in witchcraft. Like I think like a lot of that stuff also would actually also draw witches to be witches, and I think those books would also kind of like actually try and depict witches as horrible, grotesque, and really unattractive kind of creatures. And then, you know, but and then on the off chance that there actually is a human illustration in there, I think it would probably be actually showing like, oh, here's a human, and now they're being sacrificed to whatever deity that the witch decides to sacrifice a human to next. So I think like the human would not be drawn in an actual pleasant way, but more like maybe they're hung, drawn, and quartered, or maybe they're actually being stabbed and chopped up or whatever, or being devoured. But like humans would not be drawn in an actual kind of, you know, like an actual appealing way in that kind of thing. So I really don't know what Xander was getting attracted to in those books, or like, you know, like why? Because then Willow then asked him like, "Oh, it's for the pictures, isn't it?" And then he's like, "Yeah, okay, fine, you got me." So I feel like that like wasn't just like some kind of sarcastic kind of handoff, like him trying to change the subject from there. I feel like that was actually Willow knowing Xander well enough to actually crack his little kind of code and everything. See, I guess that Xander's just Xander's Xander. Xander is Xander. I guess that's the that's the best you can you can actually decipher from that. That's the best you can decipher. Xander is Xander. Xander Harris is Xander Harris. So, and then once Amy comes home, so I think for me the first twist easily was actually Amy coming home, and then her facial expression, her mood, her attitude completely shifting from school Amy to home Amy, and then in that case I think, and then I thought, oh, maybe this really is the case. Maybe Amy is actually some kind of abusive daughter who somehow through through the power of witchcraft, she has power over her mother. She can easily hex her or threaten to hex her anytime she wants. She can actually punish her if she doesn't do something. And so I thought, okay, maybe that's actually the kind of twist. Like, not only are they right that Amy is the witch, but then maybe actually through that kind of power, she has power over her mother then, and she's even actually forcing her to do her homework too. She's actually having her write her essays, and then she's going off into her own kind of witchcraft laboratory in the attic and in the loft, even actually continuing to do all of her witchcraft and everything. So then I thought, oh damn, so they were right, and Amy really is the villain of the story. Like she herself actually wants something like this so bad, and she actually wants. I mean, could be true, whether or not her mother actually used to be. Still could be true, and very likely true that her mother was actually Catherine the Great back in school. But then now Amy herself wants that kind of wants to actually. I thought maybe Amy herself actually wants to relive those, or to live those glory days for herself, and actually to achieve those same goals so badly that she's literally willing to hurt anyone who stands in her way or something. So I was, for one thing, fully caught off guard by that twist, but then also just so grasped it, like, okay, I guess this is how it is. I guess that's what the truth is. So, you got me once. They got me once, and then they got me twice. They got me twice in this episode. So, yeah. And more than that, Amy actually then kind of revealed that she actually found out about Buffy's little investigation. She literally kind of noticed that Buffy actually did kind of steal some hair out of her thing, and then she even looked back to see what they were doing, and she saw, and I think she noticed that they were actually kind of digging her hair into the actual acid and into the potion. I think that was like hydrochloric acid too. Like I think the unless because they were doing their own experiments. They were doing their own experiments. I think maybe Charles actually did kind of mention like other liquids for them to use instead of hydrochloric acid. So then I was wondering wait, hydrochloric acid, is that not supposed to be extremely damaging to the skin and everything? So if you just go pour that on someone without actually knowing what they are, then isn't that just more cause for even more concern and everything? But either way, they did it, and then I think I actually did notice in that split second, I actually did notice that the liquid actually did kind of come up as like a bright, clear blue, which they said, if it actually turns blue, then the witch is present, she is a witch and everything, and then I was like, okay, and then internally I was like, oh god, it turned blue, so she really is the witch then, and then I think then that was before the actual reveal happened, and then but then my mind was completely occupied by the fact that the other girl's kind of mouth had disappeared and she had no mouth anymore, and she just kind of couldn't talk or speak or make any noise. So, and I think no teacher, no normal teacher would know how to deal with a situation like that too. Like I think even if you take them to the nurse's office, I think not even the nurse would know what to do. They would just be completely, because I think even today, even in today's day and age, if that actually happened to someone, I'm not really sure that too many kind of medical professionals would really know what to do besides from making sure that everything on the inside is still there, and then maybe actually doing some kind of surgical operation where they actually cut a slit across the face, or maybe they actually cut a hole out to actually rebuild some kind of mouth, if that's even possible. But then if the mouth was there to begin with, and then it disappears, then if that happens, then it's obviously just some kind of supernatural occurrence that no one can explain. But then I don't know if maybe that's such a thing that can happen in real life. Maybe if someone actually is born without a mouth or born without lips or something, and then they actually end up being closed, and then that is more liable to be to require surgery and stuff. So I think nowadays you probably kind of have that kind of probably have someone who comes up with the idea to go forward and do that and stuff. But then back then too, it's it's just some kind of phenomenon. And I think especially in that case too, it's all the more kind of baffling, because then that student is known to actually come in every other day of their time and their life to actually come in with, you know, like an actual working mouth and everything, and then all of a sudden in the middle of class they just lose that ability completely. So yeah, so like that whole scene just occupied my mind completely, and then the blue kind of liquid thing was kind of shoved aside like momentarily, but then they actually did mention it later on. I was like, okay, yeah, the blue thing did show up with the liquid, and then they did. So then that then kind of means that Amy's a witch. So then I was actually going to. So then I was thinking, like, you know, because then again, definitely before the reveal happened. So then I was wondering, like, you know, okay, maybe in that case, being a witch then is like a genetic thing. So maybe her mother is still the main witch causing problems, but then her genes of being a witch have actually then been passed down to her daughter. So then because of that, the kind of test is still detecting that kind of witchy, like that kind of, you know, like witchcraft genetics in her, if that's even a thing. You know, or maybe like her mother's influence is still on her, so maybe it's detecting that, or maybe it's just detecting something about her mother on Amy, so maybe that's the case. But then given the later reveal that happens, and then I think it's then because like her mother, who is a witch and used witchcraft to switch bodies with her, that kind of power, that kind of spirit is then present. So then because of that, Amy's skin glows blue and everything. So they've really just kind of like kept throwing the ball around and having me chase it with all the different predictions and stuff and everything. So I can only imagine more of that is yet to come. I can only imagine more of that kind of storytelling and teasing is yet to come in future episodes. So yeah. And then in revenge she hit Buffy with a Bloodstone Vengeance curse. And I think I've written down Slayer too, but I think it was called like a Bloodstone Vengeance Slayer curse or something. So I think because she then knew that Buffy was a Slayer and she was actually then like fully knowledgeable on Amy's true nature and everything, she then hit her with that, and then seeing Buffy in that nature was kind of cute too, just her just being all hyper and jumpy and, you know, like pretty much like a sugar rush and being like, you know, oh hey, it's you know, like Willow and Xander, my birds, I love my birds, my newfound birds I've known for like a week or two. So that was that was pretty cool. And then I think pretty much the way that actually kind of rolled out was her just having like a kind of maybe like an hour long kind of like from the morning into like cheer practice, like her just having like a couple of hours long, and even her actually then blurting out that she's a vampire slayer to her mother too, like her just kind of being really open and jumpy and hyper and positive and everything. So pretty much like her just having like a major sugar rush, and then actually crashing in the hallway in Willow and Xander's arms and everything. So just her like essentially being given that final burst of joy and energy that she needs in life, and then until she finally crashes, and then from that point on she's just gradually kind of dying and being drained of life. So that was a very, very, very sneaky and very, very kind of very malicious kind of witchcraft kind of technique. So, and then afterwards, both Buffy and Giles do go to Amy's house and try and discover exactly like how to actually counteract this spell and how to kind of release Buffy from this grip, and actually how to actually kind of potentially even stop Amy from doing this stuff as well. And then that's when the true twist comes in. So I think I was actually wondering why. I was actually wondering how Buffy actually knew that Amy was in there, or actually knew about like that being the case and everything. I think it's because she actually looked over at the plate of brownies. And I think maybe I think definitely later in the episode after the resolution happened, like they definitely later on in the episode, like the real Amy in her own body actually mentioned wanting to bake brownies too. But then I think maybe somewhere early in the episode too, I think Catherine might have actually, I think under the guise of being Amy, Catherine actually might have actually let slip, or kind of like kept the guys up by talking about how much she loved brownies and actually trying to keep the guys up of actually maintaining like real Amy characteristics and likes and things. So then she might have let slip that Amy likes brownies. So I think because of that, she actually saw the plate of half-eaten brownies on the coffee table, and then she found out, wait, that's actually Amy's favorite dessert. Could it be? And then she's actually slowly detecting like Amy in Catherine's body, and then Giles actually puts two together, and then she's like, oh, Catherine did a body swap, didn't she? She actually put you into your mother's body, and then she put her into your body, and then that twist I did not see coming, and then that twist was executed really flawlessly too, and then actually, and then oh my god, that made so much more sense too. I think not to say that like an abusive child versus the parent storyline wouldn't make sense, but then this also actually does, like an abusive parent then literally taking control of her daughter's life and her body, that then is so much creepier and so much more disturbing too, and actually so much more kind of well executed in this episode too. So then yeah, and then even more backstory comes out that that not only then it really wasn't the case that Amy actually had any dreams like cheerleading at all. Like it was actually more just that Catherine herself wanted to relive her glory days. That and the fact that for her in her eyes she just kind of hated and kind of judged her daughter so badly and so much that like she felt like she was wasting her youth, she was wasting her perfectly kind of physically primed body or whatever and stuff, and she thought with Catherine, with Amy's body she could easily kind of relive her golden days, and I think maybe even deep down she kind of like wished that given how she saw her daughter, I think she saw her as more like a strain on her life, and especially because of the fact that she wasn't doing what she wanted her to do, or like she wasn't really doing something that, or doing anything that Catherine deemed as worthy or necessary. Then she just kind of felt felt her more felt towards her more like a waste of youth and everything. So then Catherine actually then delved into witchcraft and actually found out how to switch bodies. So then that way she could literally relive her glory days in Amy's body, and actually maybe and like in her eyes actually put Amy's body to some good use too, like in that kind of like a twisted kind of a twisted perspective. So yeah, that then made things even scarier. So then Catherine, her mother, was in her body, and then Amy, the scared scared kind of teenager who just kind of wanted her own life back, was in her mother's body and everything. So then that kind of made equal amounts of sense, and I think it actually definitely kind of worked to maintain that kind of sci-fi stuff mixed with kind of like domestic kind of abuse and stuff and control in quite well. So yeah, damn. And I think then the homework line makes more sense. Like her coming home and actually telling Amy in her body like, oh, I've got a history paper now, you need to write it, because then the kids don't start like for her, cheerleading is all that matters. Cheerleading is all that matters, Catherine. So then any of the actual kind of mainstream tedium of schoolwork and stuff can just be handled by her daughter, and then she'll literally use her body against her consent to actually go and do all these different kind of things. So yeah, and then deliberately hurting anyone who gets in her way too. So yeah, and then she wanted to be 16 again. She wanted to be that young again, and actually seeing her daughter seeing her daughter living her own life, and actually being afraid of her, and actually probably not even doing what she didn't want to. Probably not even doing what she wanted to do, but then also actually definitely not doing what she wanted her to do, and actually what she wanted to do was maybe kind of what kind of got to her the most. And then she went down a very dark path, and just that kind of twist that twist blew me back even more. That twist blew me back even more. So this show, I feel like that then kind of means that this show, on the one hand, isn't afraid. On the one hand, so this show simultaneously can get dark, and it also isn't afraid to get dark either. It actually isn't afraid to go into somewhat more disturbing themes and disturbing topics and everything, then actually mixing in that kind of horror, kind of like the kind of more mythological and fantasy horror into it. But then there's also the horror of like the of someone at home being abused by someone else and being controlled, and having their free will and their kind of body and their kind of sense of identity and their kind of like just pretty much their everything just kind of violated and actually taken away from them and everything. So like that kind of whole concept is just really creepy and scary to think about. I mean, how even in the real world, like in real life, like so many parents do literally force their kids into various different parts of life, because for them either because then like it's then either a case of like the parents didn't get to do it as a kid, so then they want to live vicariously through their kids, or maybe they did do it as a kid, but then they also want their kids to do it, so then they can live. So then in that sense, they can relive their glory days through their kids too. And I think even then, like that is also just as bad too, because I think the only way it works well is if the parent actually opens their child up to the idea of doing it, and then the child is actually equally on board, so then they both work together to achieve the same dream. But then even then, it only like true happiness in that sense only really works if like the kid is accepted equally as much for actually dropping the dream later on, because then they realize, oh, it's not for me, it's for you, so you need to find a way to achieve your happiness. But then in the worst of cases, like the parents just kind of don't allow their kids to chase their own dreams at all. Like for them, like their dream has to be like their kid's dream has to be the same as their dream, and it's like it's either one of the two. Either the parent wants to relive glory days through their kid, or they want to actually live and actually experience on what they missed out on through their kid too. So I think it happens just as badly and just as much in real life too. So I think seeing it happen in this kind of explicitly of a way, and this graphically of a way, just kind of definitely made me feel all the more kind of all the more sorry for Amy and for what she went through, and for what was even for that moment of time, even like actually taken away from her and everything, and then that was really dark stuff. And then of course Giles takes Buffy and Catherine back to or even Amy back to the school, and then and then they kind of retransition the bodies to actually go back to the way they were and everything. And then Amy's actually on the way as soon as Amy starts having visions back and forth between actually seeing her mother being in the school and being in a laboratory and actually doing that kind of reversal spell. She just kind of heads straight back to the laboratory and gets an axe and shinings her way through it without the face reveal and everything. And that happens, and then just in time, Giles actually executes a spell just in time for Amy to get her body back just as soon as she's actually ready to swing the axe at Buffy again. And then that whole reveal, Amy finally being back in her body, but then Catherine, once Catherine's back in hers, she is straight back up on her feet again and just kind of just rugby tackling Buffy to the ground and trying to attack her and everything. And then she still has her powers too. She still has her powers. And then I think once that body switch reveal came back around in full form too, I think that was also then just as scary, because I think in that form, that was the true form, that was the true appearance of the actual control and then the actual abuse going on, like Amy back in her actual normal body, but still being a scared kind of daughter who was being controlled and kind of just being used by her mother essentially, and then her mother being back in her normal body and still being ever powerful, still being ever dominant, still being ever kind of judgmental and in control of the situation, and that whole thing kind of happening. So seeing it happen as explicitly and as kind of clearly as that was still just as bad. But then finally she did try and use her powers to send Buffy to the dark place with I think his name was Korsheth, like some kind of demon or spirit called Korsheth. So Korsheth take her soul to the dark place and feast forevermore, or whatever have you. And then Buffy using her strength to actually kick, and she actually got a strength back too. Actually having the draining kind of curse thing cut off meant that she actually had her strength back too, so she could fight and everything. And then she actually kicked the mirror up and deflected the spell and sent Catherine to the dark place instead. So all was right in the end. So that was a fun kind of final battle of sorts. So and then of course Giles being knocked out for most of it, only waking up once the danger is over. And then even more awesome, even more kind of A+ spectacle was Xander coming in and grabbing Amy, being like, I've got the witch, now eradicate her and everything, and then that one, and then Willow coming in not even 10 seconds behind him with a metal bat, being like, okay, where's the witch? I'm ready to fight now. like those two just A for effort to Willow and Xander. Even if they show up late, they still show up prepared. That I think that is definitely something that matters. So that was good. And then in the end, it life is somewhat back to better state of affairs for Amy. She's actually, I think she's probably reconnecting with her dad again, and he wants to spend some more quality time with her. And then the brownie baking was her idea too. So she's now actually loving getting the new attention from him, actually having one semi-stable parent in her life that probably hopefully doesn't want to use her or abuse her in any way at all. So hopefully that kind of relationship goes well again. And then yeah, I thought we'd have like a glimpse of Catherine in the dark dimension or the dark place or whatever again, and see how she was doing, if she was doing it anyway at all. But then the camera zoomed in on her actual trophy figure, and it zoomed in so far that we could actually see the face, and then her eyes opened up and were swiveling around and everything. So I was like, okay, wow. So I don't know if she's still in the dark place, but then she's somehow connected to the trophy, or maybe she actually just got transported into the trophy. So maybe now she wanted to relive her glory days, and those trophies are a pitch perfect representation of those glory days. So now she can actually live vicariously through her trophies, through inanimate objects, and actually watch people walk past and admire the cabinet full of other trophies and also hers. So I think that's just like that is a dessert fit for justice. I was gonna say revenge, as a dish best served cold, but no, I don't know. It's just it's what's the phrase? What's the phrase? Her best dessert. No, not her best dessert. What's the phrase? It's her just dessert. I think that's how I think that's how it goes. It's her just dessert. It's her just dessert. I trust that's the actual phrase I'm looking for. I trust that's the phrase I'm looking for. I'm really trusting that's the phrase I'm looking for, but I'm not too sure. But either way, yeah, so now Catherine is forevermore trapped in her own trophy, celebrating her own glory days. So I think that is the best ending for her. That is the best ending for her. She wanted to relive her glory days so badly, so now she can literally live in the golden, shining, polished trophy representing those trophy days. And now Amy can live in her own body, living her own dreams, and doing what she wants with her own life and her own body, as she pleases, as she deserves, and as she deserves the right to do. So very happy for Amy, very very happy for Amy, and hopefully she now can pursue any and all curricular and curricular activities or hobbies or whatever that actually pleases her and actually feels good to her, and hopefully reconnecting with her father can help her do that too. So yeah, hope the future is bright for Amy. Hope the future is very very bright for Amy. But that was the end of Catherine. But yeah, that is pretty much all I've really picked up from this one. This one definitely felt like a Monster of the Week episode too. This one with the witch definitely felt like a Monster of the Week episode. So that was really really fun. Very good to actually kind of ease myself back into that formula with this. And I think Supernatural was definitely kind of not necessarily prepared me for this kind of a show, but actually allowed me to actually ease myself into the show or that much better, with a sense of familiarity and with a sense of fondness for this genre and this kind of story too, this kind of horror, sci-fi, fantasy stuff. So I've said that before, but I'll say it again. Definitely feel like it's like a great big helping hand. But either way, I'm loving the show so far. I mean, 3 episodes in, not very far in, and I think people have mentioned that season 1 as a whole pretty much is like a finding the show's foot kind of starting off point. So it's definitely like a bit like slow burn, but not really insufferable slow burn. Like you can definitely still enjoy it, but things people have told me, it only gets better after here on out. So very much looking forward to seeing what the rest of the season holds, and also progressing further into the show. So that should be very fun. But yeah, that is all I have from this one. So that was Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 1 episode 3. So as always, thank you guys so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn a like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think, and what you're looking forward to in the future of this season, and any kind of and what you enjoyed from this episode and how you felt about it and how you feel about like Monster of the Week episodes and those kinds of formulas for TV shows and what have you. Once again, the full-length reaction for the episode will be over on Patreon, so you can go check that over there. And yeah, that is it. So I will see you guys next time.